6 specially elected MPs drawn from key sectors to enhance legislative discussions. BPF pledges to work with the ruling UDC in Parliament. And US President-elect Donald Trump returns to the White House. Interpreting in sign language is Topo Taposa. Good evening. A special seating of the 13th Parliament has endorsed through a secret ballot specially elected members of Parliament. The 6 are the UDC's Head of Communications, Mr. Moeti Mohasa, Major General Pius Mokware, Economist, and former Minister of Trade and Industry, Ms. Bukholo Kenwendo, Medical Practitioner, Dr. Stephen Mudise, Miss World Africa, and Attorney at Law, Ms. Leseho Chombo, as well as academic Ms. Nunu Kafela Mokoka.
The Parliament meeting was convened to implement the first schedule of the Constitution that gave effect to the provisions of Section 58, whose clauses govern the election of specially elected members.
If you look at the Constitution, it would say, in terms of the first schedule said 4 nominations for specially elected. It was recently amended to now extend it to 6. The rationale was not necessarily explained as to why there's an increase, but you would suppose, generally speaking, when you nominate more specially elected members of Parliament, you are trying to increase or broaden the expertise and the diversity of those that you already have.
The list of the just endorsed specially elected members came with a mix of old and new faces, being the likes of former Miss BOTSWANA, Ms. Leseho Chombo, former Minister of Trade and Industry, and an economist, Ms. Bukholo Kenwendo, Ms. Nono Kafela Mokoka, who is a lecturer from the University of Botswana, former Member of Parliament for Kabane Mankodi, Major General Pius Mokware, Mr. Moeti Mohasa, a political stalwart and a spokesperson for the ruling party UDC, and Dr. Stephen Mudise, who is a local surgeon.
I am very humbled. I'm very honored to have even been, considered, nominated. Now to actually be voted for, it's very humbling. But most importantly, like you said, it's an issue of diversity. I think all of us as young people, myself included, have been longing to see a young person in Parliament.
I bring my experiences, I bring my networks, and I bring my passion and my heart, most importantly. And I think all I can say is, I just want to work to my utmost best and give the best that I can.
The nomination of Ms. Kenwendo Chombo and Ms. Kafela Mokoka is regarded as a milestone by many, as it reflects the growing momentum for gender equality in political representation, especially in Parliament. All members of the 13th Parliament will be sworn in tomorrow. Kikantse Kumalo, Botswana Television, Gaborone.
The Umbrella for Democratic Change, UDC's Head of Communications, Mr. Moeti Mohasa, says the UDC remains resolute in fulfilling the aspirations of its manifesto as laid down for Botswana in the campaign trail. Wame Khasudi reports.
Convictionally, during the campaigns leading up to the general elections, the Umbrella for Democratic Change laid its manifesto to the nation to canvass for votes, promising to carry them out once they assume power. Even though some people believe the current financial state of the country could frustrate the UDC-led government's efforts to fulfill its promises, Botswana are pinning their hopes on the current administration's capabilities.
I'm talking about big people. Because we're too close to the system. And collection tax in relation to the GDP. Botswana is one of the lowest. It's one of the low war-torn countries. And what we can collect double, collect our own pay. And we're talking about because they've been funding the BDP. So the UDC has to make sure that but that person has to comply. Because at the end of the day, my dear Ghana society did sell. My dear Ghana society did table, Abaka Yadi at the suit. So some of our system made the movement thing. Ya have project it cost a 2 bula. e sontso re vote ya go jaaka fopula. The question ke gore ya no madi a go go ma corruption ke yone e bolaileng la tsela go tswana, particularly in the last 5 years re bolaile corruption.
Among other things, the UDC commits to reviving this country's economy through the establishment of mega industries.
Dizo munza rona mola hatsen la go tswana for re kgona re thamele ba tsona ditiro bogolo ka nako e tsela rona ne ikegile tata ka kgomo ba ne ba bua gore kgona ja dikonopo ka dinaka tsa dikgomo ga ja marashe ka megata ya dikgomo ba tsela ya bua tsotlhe leather industry in zone like education is production but I don't know what about one let's go here about what about white collar jobs are ba dire go mpino go kgona re ba ika the industries that we believe also did before the next I think in the next 100 days, like we said yesterday, we should give a report card for the Zamahagai.
In the wake of UDC's attainment of state power, and with many people expressing confidence in the party to effect change that will ultimately benefit all, the party has a mammoth task to prove itself over the next 5 years. Wamme Khasudi, PTV News, Gaborone.
The Botswana Patriotic Front, BPF, says they are committed to working with the newly elected Umbrella for Democratic Change, UDC. This was revealed in a statement in which they agreed to share responsibilities to rebuild Botswana. According to the release, the party's National Executive Committee, NEC, has decided that it is in the interest of the nation that they cooperate with the UDC. In other news, 79% of registered voters cast their vote in the just-ended general election. The Independent Electoral Commission IEC spokesperson, Mr. Usupile Maroba, says that statistics show that out of 1,038,275 people who registered for the general election, 824,014 exercised their right to vote.
Mr. Maroba says the general elections were peaceful and transparent. He credited the high turnout due to voter education, which included teaching eligible voters about the electoral process and other civic matters. He thanked all who worked tirelessly to ensure that the election process ran smoothly.
Election roll aruna in Albatopi Bakana 1,038,275. Ele palo ya batho ba ile gore na ba ikwadisitse ka go tshwanetseng ka tebile ba na le tshwanelo la gore ba ka go thopa. Maybe re ka di 30.
EC registered 1,038,275 electorates. The number included those who voted in the diaspora and in advanced polls. In total, 824,014 people voted. Mr. Maroba also noted that feedback from SADC and AU observers on the 2024 Botswana general elections is important.
Go tsaya la gore a di amana le molao ga di amana le molao go ra gore le khotla le tsemise top le di isa go parlamente gore ba seka gore a mme ke sengwe se ile gore se ka diragadiwa mo molao ya rona jaaka entse go bo go nna le di kgakolo.
SADC and AU reports will be considered if they align with the Electoral Act, but recommendations that are administrative in nature will be taken into consideration.
Naeng le lebile bokgoni jwa lone le ditsompelo tse di leng teng gore le ka diragatsa dihe tse ile gore gongwe di ka thusa go tokagatsa ditsamaiso tsa re go tsamisa dithopo.
The IEC will release a report on the 2024 elections early next year. Ke o leboga Radipotsane, BTV News, Gaborone.
You're still with BTV News at 9 o'clock. The project manager for Engineers Registration Board, ERB, Ms. Claire Mosarwa, has urged engineers to be at the center of bringing innovative solutions to communities through cutting-edge technologies. She said this during the Engineers Breakfast meeting to deliberate on the upcoming Engineers Forum from the 5th to the 7th of March 2025. The breakfast meeting was held in Gaborone on Tuesday. Reports.
The event was the first activation of the upcoming event, which seeks to celebrate the engineering community and the pivotal role they uphold in the country's future to bring about lasting solutions. It will highlight shared abilities to transform ideas into impactful realities.
For us to be struggling with gaps for more than 12 months, where are the engineers, man? Where are we? Why are we not really talking the right language? We even get excited by just pulling people down and saying, even the engineers join in. You know, we don't even think about it as an opportunity for us to be coming up with a different idea of how to do things. This is a mindset. This is a mindset. We need to really work on it to say, whenever there is something that is not going right, you know, engineers need to be coming up with solutions. So the mindset should be that what is wrong and how can I assist people to actually do better things. So that is why it says engineering your future.
The Botswana Engineering found the event opportune to host a inaugural of the new president of the Federal of African Engineering Organizations.
The current EXA president will be the next president of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations, FAEO. And she has to be inaugurated on the World Engineering Day 2025. Now, we've taken the advantage that ERB Botswana hosts, I shall call it the best event in terms of World Engineering Day. They've requested us to host that inauguration.
This puts Botswana in a very good position when it comes to professional engineering competence. And for you to be part of this moving event would really also put you out there. When it comes to sponsorship, like Mama Sarah had mentioned,
one of the key themes for the forum is bridging the gap between research and application. Somlekai, BTV News, Gaborone.
The supply chain sector has been called on to rethink and reshape industry practices as it emerges from the aftermath of COVID-19 geopolitical shifts and climate change. This call was made by the African Continental Free Trade Area's Head of Trade and Services, Ms. Beatrice Shaita, at the ongoing Botswana Supply Chain Summit in Gaborone. The summit has brought together industry experts to identify actionable strategies and solutions for creating a robust and sustainable supply chain framework within the AFCFTA. Horata Morayani.
The supply chain industry is crucial in growing businesses and driving economic growth. However, for maximum efficiency, industry practices are expected to respond to different challenges and other factors within the operational space. With the AFCFTA seeking to expedite the growth of African economies, the supply chain industry has to make some adjustments in order to capitalize on this.
So the AFCFTA agreement represents a groundbreaking milestone in African unity and economic collaboration, with the power to reshape trade, investment, and innovation across the continent. What it does, today's summit comes at a pivotal time when our supply chains must adapt to challenges posed by the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, certain geopolitical shifts, and the ever-present effects of climate change. These disruptions have highlighted the urgency to rethink and revitalize our supply chain practices to build resilience within Africa's trade networks. This summit brings together industry experts, thought leaders, and innovators who, I hope, together will identify actionable strategies and solutions for creating a robust and sustainable supply chain framework within the context of the AFCFTA.
As the industry experts gather here, they are expected to share insights into emerging trends, best practices, and innovations in supply chain management specific to Botswana and the region.
As you are aware, that the change on the Public Procurement Act was to build in efficiency in public procurement, to make sure that it is responsive to the changes in the environment, such that we are able to deliver service to the general public.
Forums of this nature are expected to revitalize the supply chain industry and make progress towards sustainable development. Khorata Moranyane, BTV News, Gaborone.
The United States of America's ambassador to Botswana, Mr. Howard Van Franken, says he has deep respect for Botswana's handling of elections and respect for democracy. Mr. Van Franken made the remarks at a U.S. election viewing event in Gaborone as Americans gave former President Donald Trump another chance to lead the country. Tsolofelo Tombale.
The United States general elections come just a week after Botswana's own general elections. And with Americans spread out all over the world, including in Botswana, the U.S. Embassy held an election viewing event that brought people with interest in the elections under the same roof. At this forum, the U.S. Ambassador to Botswana shared his sentiments on Botswana's handling of elections.
As we reflect on our own democracy, we can do so today in the wake of Botswana's own elections last week, which were, quite frankly, in my opinion, a model of democracy, a model for the United States, a model for Africa, and for the rest of the world. Really an impressive process. We witnessed a very, very vigorous debate in which all of the issues were discussed, even the most uncomfortable issues.
The ambassador further reiterated his country's commitment to democracy.
Every election is an opportunity either to get it right or get it wrong, to make sure that the will of the people is fairly and faithfully reflected in the results, in accordance with the laws and the Constitution of the given country. So that's what we're here to do. And I stand confident that we have invested the time and attention in our democracy to get it right today.
Some attendees share their observations of the U.S. elections.
I think if I were to link the elections this year generally from South Africa to Botswana and other countries, now to US, what I've observed is that people are pushing for change across board. The people are speaking, and in as much as sometimes the outcome but you can tell that people want change, people want to hold people accountable, and people want the leaders that can actually make sure that they bring about positive change in their respective countries.
I think this is a great time to be alive because I've been able to observe democracy to its fullest. For me, with my profession, the Constitution, democracy, all those things are paramount to me. So to be able to observe them and see them happening and realizing that elections are really for the people, are about the people, and having people respect that process, that has been amazing to watch.
As Botswana and the United States continue to strengthen bilateral relations, the shared values of democracy and good governance have been anchors of this relationship. Tsolofelo Tombale, BTV News, Gaborone.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump has been elected as President of the United States, having surpassed the expected margin of 270 electoral votes. His opponent, Ms. Kamala Harris, trails behind with 224 electoral votes. Donald Trump had earlier claimed victory and thanked his supporters at a rally in Florida. He said this was a movement like nobody has ever seen before and that it is the greatest political movement of all time. Trump went on to pledge to fix everything in the United States of America. World leaders have sent congratulatory messages to Donald Trump. President of France, Emmanuel Macron, said he's looking forward to working with Trump for more peace and prosperity. UK Prime Minister said he's also looking forward to working with Trump as the US greatest ally. Olaf Scholz said as Germany, they look forward to working together with Trump for prosperity of their citizens. Other notable leaders include Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO, Ursula von der Leyen, EU Commission President, as well as leaders from Turkey, Italy, Spain, and the Philippines. Up next is Tato Josimore with sport.
Thank you, Komotso Mapane. This is the last edition of Botswana Tonight Sports segment. I am Tato Josimore. Thank you for staying with us. Our leading story tonight, the founder of Bushway Safaris and rowing race athlete Mark Jamakit says the philanthropic mission to undertake an extraordinary journey of rowing across the Atlantic Ocean is to raise funds for the Bushways Foundation, which addresses vital social issues in northern Botswana. The journey of rowing across the Atlantic Ocean, which is part of the prestigious world toughest row, is expected to last for 40 days. Atlasaone Kinele reports.
Jamiket will be rowing 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean as part of the annual prestigious World's Toughest Row, which has been taking place since 1997, renowned for testing human endurance and spirit.
At the end of my long journey through Africa, I decided that I had visited most of the countries in Africa, and Botswana was the ultimate. It was the purest form of wildlife. It had more than 40% of the country dedicated to conservation. The people of Botswana were just lovely and welcoming, and we have the most stable and democratic government, which has just recently been proven again. That democracy is really strong in this country. So 1995, 21 years old, I started Bushway Safaris. We've grown the business. We have about 200 employees. We are a truly Botswana company. We are based in Botswana, we're based in Maun. This year there will be 40 teams, about 120 athletes. There are 7 solos, which is the class that I'll be racing in and representing Botswana.
Jamiket said the foundation was dedicated to creating meaningful opportunities, improving lives, and protecting the environment.
So the big question that everybody asks me is, why? Why on earth would anybody want to do this? And with all my background of adventure sports and things, I thought it was just truly inspiring and the ultimate test of human endurance, mental strength, that there is no other event on the planet that would that comes close to really testing yourself. So that was about 15 years ago. So I've had this dream for about 15 years to do the event.
Jamiket has encouraged people to support the bold adventure in any way possible and not make the journey only about the distance traveled, but the impact created. The challenge is expected to start on the 12th of next month, and funds raised through the Atlantic crossing will go towards supporting the Bushways Foundation and its vital work in Maung and surrounding areas. Atlasawa Nikenilwe, BTV Sport, Maung.
Moving on, following a 6-year period without an official league, the Botswana Volleyball Federation made a strong comeback this year, relaunching the league and running it smoothly despite the absence of an official sponsor. The federation's president, Tsuseletso Mahang, has expressed the satisfaction with the progress made so far, noting that the league's return marks a significant step forward. She believes it will be instrumental in preparing teams for the upcoming Zone 6 Club Championships set to take place in Gaborone from the 5th to the 15th of December.
We had not had a league for 6 years. Came in. It was one of the things that I just put my head on the block and said, we are going to work very hard, and we're going to do anything that it takes for us to return the volleyball league. You know, players need to be out there playing to sharpen their skills. Coaches need to be sharpening their skills. Referees and everybody can only do that if there's a lot of games. Tournament, they give you about 6 weeks. League, 6 months. We're talking 6-7 months, of play through and through. There has been a lot of teething problems because from there has been a lot of learnings that we're also making along the way, and we believe even second round we have taken a decision because first round high hell second round, so that we give the teams they're going to be participating in the club championships a place for them to to continue playing until basically almost the games at the club championships. So like I said, I'm really happy that we took the bold step to actually start the league even without prizes. Sponsors are now softening up. Very soon we'll be signing with UPIC TV, Bofinet. It's an online TV that will be streaming our games, and with that we're hopeful that we'll be able to attract more support to come on board, to assist us with running the league.
In conclusion, Botswana Football Association President Wabile Babitseng says having been in office for less than 100 days, they've realized that they are faced with a momentous task when it comes to football development in the country. Babitseng further pointed out that together with his committee, they have come up with strategies that will help them achieve this mandate. The BFA president also expressed the gratitude towards FIFA, who placed their support in assisting them achieve this set of goals.
Babitseng further revealed that FIFA has pledged to support them with all they will need for football development, especially women football and the infrastructure necessary to take Botswana football to greater heights.
We are going to be doing grounds in Kang. We are going to be doing grounds in Mahalape. We are going to be doing grounds in Maung. I just received a report which will be shared with NEC, which I can't say with the media now, on maybe the possibility of what is happening in Kazungula.
The BFA president said they also have a mandate to have the under-17s, under-20 and the mayors to participate in regional and international competitions as a way of grooming young players to reach international standards, something he said has worked for other advanced countries.
So all these things are driving us to where we want to see every year, since there will be under-17 World Cup being played every year. We want to participate in that one, technical director. Okay, every year, not like that. Secondly, we have under-20 that will be played every 2 years, and we want to be part of that. We also have women, WAFCON and World Cup. We want to be there.
Babitseng said they are going to conduct coaches and referees programs as they are part and parcel of football development, adding that equipping them with the right skills will also add value to our football. Katlaho Kakwele, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
With that said, we come to the end of our Botswana Tonight sports segment. Thank you very much for the privilege of your time. Now, Komitso Mapani standing by to remind us the leading stories.
6 specially elected MPs drawn from key sectors to enhance legislative discussions. BPF pledges to work with the ruling UDC in Parliament. And U.S. President-elect Donald Trump returns to the White House. Tato Khosimore in sport, interpreting in sign language is Topo Taposa. Up next is the weather update. BTV News, Ikanyarona.
Good evening and welcome to today's weather forecast brought to you by Mpho Ishadar. Let's start off by looking at the rainfall amounts recorded this morning at 8 a.m. We have 3 millimeters at Chobe Junior Secondary School, 2 millimeters at Kasane International Airport and Plateau Primary School, and 1 millimeter at KwaZulu Police Station and Mumbuluki Setambule Garden. Now for the current satellite picture, clouds are visible over most parts of the country, and this bluish color shows some developing thunderstorms which may possibly thunder or shower tonight in some areas. For tomorrow, partly cloudy conditions are expected over the entire country with possibility of isolated thunder showers. Fresh strong winds are also expected over most parts of the country. Therefore, the public is still advised to take necessary precautions. In the morning, mild temperatures are expected over Kalahari of 13 degrees Celsius over Tshwane to 15 degrees Celsius over Tsabong and Middle Beats. For southern southeast Katleng-Kwene and southern central districts, warm temperatures are expected ranging between 16 degrees Celsius over Good Hope to 19 degrees Celsius over Lepepe and Mahalap. And over the remaining districts, hot temperatures are expected in the morning ranging between 20 degrees Celsius over Kade and Khanzi to 23 degrees Celsius over Kasane. In the afternoon, warm temperatures are expected over southern central and northeast districts, ranging between 28 degrees Celsius over Silebe Pico to 32 degrees Celsius over Mahalab. For southern southeast Gauteng and Kwenen districts, hot temperatures are expected ranging between 33 degrees Celsius over Good Hope and Gaborone to 34 degrees Celsius over Lepepe and Jani. And over the bulk of the country, very hot temperatures are expected in the afternoon, ranging between 36 degrees Celsius over Ngojane to 38 degrees Celsius over Tsabong and Maun. Therefore, the public is still advised to take necessary precautions. Now, for the active fires are visible over Ngamiland, Khanzi and Kalahari districts, and for the fire danger index shows very dangerous conditions to extremely dangerous conditions as we move towards the southwestern part of Botswana. Continue with the weather forecast for cities in Africa. Partly cloudy conditions are expected over Luanda and Windhoek with a maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius over Windhoek. For Cape Town and Gqeberha, few patches of clouds are expected with a maximum temperature of 30 degrees Celsius over Cape Town. For Dar es Salaam and Nairobi, partly cloudy conditions are expected with possibility of showers with a maximum temperature of 30 degrees Celsius over Dar es Salaam. And for Antananarivo, partly cloudy conditions are expected with a maximum temperature of 27 degrees Celsius. Continue with the weather forecast. Few patches of clouds are expected over Addis Ababa with a maximum temperature of 21 degrees Celsius. While over Khartoum, Cairo, Tripolis, and N'Djamena, clear skies are expected to be visible with a maximum temperature of 35 degrees Celsius over N'Djamena and Cairo. And over Rabat, few patches of clouds are expected to be visible with a maximum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius. Lastly, for Monrovia, partly cloudy conditions are expected with possibility of showers with a maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius. That's all I had for you tonight. Have yourself a good night.
If you look at the Constitution, it would say, in terms of the first schedule said 4 nominations for specially elected. It was recently amended to now extended to 6. The rationale was not necessarily explained as to why there's an increase, but you would suppose, generally speaking, when you nominate more specially elected members of parliament, you're trying to increase or broaden the expertise and the diversity of those that you already have. In a democracy, you shouldn't always assume, and this is something that we should really pay attention to, that because people are in the same political party, they are automatically going to agree on all ideas. It could be possible that even amongst the 6 nominated parties, the president wouldn't, the other members of parliament would not agree with any of these and decide not to vote or express their discontent. Especially if you look at it, the numbers and the results are varying. There are those that got 45 votes, those that got 43. That should tell us that it's not an insignificant election process.